I'm fine.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV. Delighted to be joined by Deontay Wilder. Deontay, you know that back in 2018, you were one of my first major big interviews out in Belfast, and it's a privilege to be speaking to you again. I just want to get that out there.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Good to see you again.
You too, brother. Listen, obviously, big fight out in Saudi Arabia. I'm lucky enough to be out there and I'm looking forward to it. You've got a huge fight against Joseph Parker. Now, a lot has been made about your time out the ring. You've had less than a round in 2 years. So, how has this training camp been ahead of the Parker fight?
Whew. This training camp has been very intense, but very pleasant. It's been very enjoyable, very pleasant, enjoyable, and it's been, man, it's been amazing. I can say so many different things that title this camp, and I'm just grateful to have so many individuals around me that have the same goal as I, and that's to unify the division. And by doing that, we have to work hard. We have to train hard to get that done. And that's exactly what we've been doing. We've been putting in the work, overboard, overtime, because this has been a short camp, and we knew this was going to be a short camp. And with being a short camp, you got to stack it in as if it was a full camp, and that's what we've been doing. And I've been looking spectacular. So I'm looking forward to translating what I've been doing here into the ring come December 23rd.
Deontay, that's good to hear, because when we're looking, when boxing analysts and journalists and fans, they'll look at this fight coming up and they'll look at Deontay Wilder and be like, he's had less than a round in 2 years, when Joseph Parker's had 3 fights this year alone, 2 by knockout. Can we read into that? Will this play a factor in this fight?
It don't play a factor into it. I mean, you have to look. It can play a factor. Then it can't. It all depends on how you look at it. Now, how many? Although he's had 3 fights, who was those fighters? Who was those fighters, and what kind of challenge did they bring to him? You know what I mean? Because you can have 3 easy fights that don't bring nothing to you. You can, that didn't mean nothing. That didn't. He can have 3 fights that didn't elevate him to no level. Did those 3 fights make him better than what he was before? And that is the question. And if the question is no, then it doesn't matter. All that is just you just getting in time in the ring. That don't mean nothing to me. When you're dealing with one of the most dangerous fighter in boxing history, the hardest puncher in boxing history, you still gotta you need 10 fights ahead of him to get ready. Because when I come in bad intentions. And they know when I hit you, bam, baby, it's good night. And so all that doesn't matter to me. December 23rd, we can say what we want, but we soon shall see.
Exactly. Obviously, I was out in Dublin for the Katie Taylor Chantel Cameron fight, and Parker was there. Joseph was there, and I spoke to him. He's confident. He is on a high. He thinks he can really beat you up and he can knock you out. When I asked him, he's got the belief that he can knock you out, and his promoter David Higgins believes the same thing. Now, when you hear your opponent and his team saying that they can go into this fight and knock Deontay Wilder out, what does that do for you as a fighter mentally going into this fight? Does that give you more fire in your belly to go in there and knock him out?
No, most definitely. It makes it fuels my fire. And if they feel this way, then why they didn't do this years ago when he had the belt? I guess they didn't feel that way when they had the belt. If you a champion and you didn't feel this way when you had the belt, you ain't gonna feel this way without the belt. Trust me. You know what I mean? He can say what he want. He have to say the things. He have to say the right things. But it's gonna be a different story when he get in face to face in the ring with me. I guarantee you that.
Deontay, this fight card is huge. I mean, fight fans around the world are going to be tuning in all over the world, not just because of Deontay Wilder, but we've got Dimitri Bivol and Jai Apataya, Jarrell Miller, Dubois. We've got Anthony Joshua. We've got Otto Wallin. It's just a supreme card. But the 2 main card fights at the top there is you and Parker and Wallin and Joshua. Now, I need to get your thoughts on the co-main event here. Joshua and Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin said to me a couple of days ago that Anthony Joshua is mentally weak and he doesn't have that killer instinct anymore. And he's confident he can go in there and beat him. Now, do you share that sentiment as with Otto Wallin? Do you think Anthony Joshua is mentally weak and he's lost his killer instinct?
I mean, I've always thought Joshua was mentally weak. This is not just started. You know what I mean? If you go back in my previous interviews and hear me talk about Joshua, I've always thought he had a very weak mentality. You know, when it comes to who's the best, or if he thinking he's the best, especially when it comes to fighting me. It's no secret. I mean, a lot of things have already came out with WBN, World Boxing News, about why that fight that didn't happen with when he asked for $50 million, why it didn't happen. And people will really see why it didn't happen because the story is out now. You know, most time the truth come out. It's only a matter of time, and that time came about. So, you know, but you know, we're all here. We're still alive, and you know, we all have work to do. We all have learning to do, and life teaches us a lot of lessons. You know, but within those lessons, most time it come blessings if you apply knowledge to life. That's how you become wise. And with that being said, you know, he even had a lot of lessons to be presented to him. So hopefully he have grasped all those lessons and laid them all out on the table and been able to turn it into blessings. You know, so when it do time for me and him to fight, that he have all the motivation and confidence to do what he have to do, no matter what, even after this fight, no matter what happens. You know, so we'll see what we'll see. You know, this is the beautiful thing about life and living in this world. You're able to see certain things happen that many, you know, wouldn't be able to see.
I'm fine.